imagine your ribs are sort of coming towards your hips. So you're really you're not leaning forward like that, but you feel like you're really creating a nice solid core. So you're just stabilizing that main trunk of your body. So your knees are hip width apart with a slight micro bend. And we're just going to do a few arm circles. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, open up your chest. Only if you want to, you can come up onto your tiptoes and back down to the soles of your feet. Don't have the band too tight. So you just want a little bit of tension in the band. Open up your chest, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and a little bit of tension will help you squeeze your shoulder blades together. Open up the chest and just keep those arms nice and long. Lengthen. You can stay on your tiptoes if you want to, really challenges your balance. Pull that belly button to the spine, squeezing your glutes. And just back to center, just one more, back to center. We're just going to dip our chin to our chest, gently roll your head to the left and right, really relax the muscles in your neck, dipping your chin to your chest. And just mobilize all those muscles in the neck, rolling from left to right. And then back to center. We're just going to do a little roll down. So we're going to have Pilates stance, if you can, if it's too uncomfortable, regular stance. Hold on to your hips. We're going to hinge forward first of all, pull your belly button to the spine, nice straight back. Lengthen, lengthen, pull that belly button to the spine. Now, some of you with lumbar spine issues, you're going to stay here, holding on to your thighs, and the rest of us are going to round and curl, pushing into your heels, tailbone up to the ceiling, and you're going to rotate to the right. Rotation the upper spine, holding on to your thighs, it looks like this. So that's with lumbar spine issues, you hold on to your thighs, keeping a nice straight back and back to center, and over to the left. So out to the side or up to the ceiling is your range of motion, and lengthen, lengthen back to center. Let the top of your body hang, and squeeze your glutes, pull your belly button to the spine, let the top of your body hang, and pull that belly button in, so it's the deep core muscles that are restacking your spine. And we come up into mountain. If you can glue your ankles together on your tiptoes, great. If it's too uncomfortable, just stay regular, hip width apart. Lengthen. Prayer your hands together, shoulders down your back pockets. And back into mountain. Lengthen, chest out to the sun, shoulders down your back pockets. Oops, I'm on my tiptoes, gluing my ankles together. Try not to wobble like me. And come down to the soles of your feet, prayer in your hands, and come over to the left, sticking out the hips, squeeze your glutes, lengthen, lengthen, and pull the band apart. You can have the band a little bit tighter if you want to now. Feeling a lovely deep stretch in your waist and your hips, squeeze the glutes, pull your belly button into the spine. Back to center, squeeze, pull the belly button, spine, and over to the right. Pull the band apart, little tension of the band you can feel. You're just deepening the stretch in your waist and your hips, but holding that stretch will strengthen. Prayer, squeeze the glutes and back center, over to the other side. Just one more. Lengthen, pull the band apart, squeeze the glutes, pull the belly button to the spine, protect your lumbar spine. Squeeze the glutes and back center, one more. And lengthen. Back to center. Now keep your arms up to the ceiling if you can. Step your left foot forward. We're going to rotate. Now you choose the leg position that's good for you. You know how it works. You can take a little bit of pressure out your big toe. And we're rotating over to my right, your left. So my hips are set in stone. Try to keep that nose between your chest. And back to center. We do 3 either side. You might come up, float up your knee. It's all about complete stability. Now, if this is really uncomfortable to lengthen your arms up to the ceiling, just cross your arms, rotating to the side. And back to center. Total stability. We'll do the other side. So take some pressure out to your right toe, or up to floating your knee, or you might be lengthening out your leg as you rotate to your right. So you choose the level that's good for you. Oops, don't wobble like me. It's all about complete stability. Rotation, I'm going to lengthen out my leg now. Complete stability. And back to center. So you should feel a lot more mobile. We're just going to do some leg shakers. Either hold on to your hips, or you can lengthen your arms out in front, pulling the band apart. So knees are hip width apart, and we're going to come up onto our tiptoes, and we're going to slide our shoulders down the wall. We're not leaning forward, shoulders down your back pockets. Feeling it in your quads, and back to center. So it's your range of motion. Some of you might have your arms lengthened out in front, pulling the band apart, knees stay hip width apart. Don't flare out to your knees. So some of you might be holding onto your hips, and the rest of us are lengthening our arms out inside, out in front, pulling the band apart. Come to your range of motion. This is how it looks when you hold onto your hips. Slide your shoulders down the wall, pull your belly button to the spine, feeling it in the quads. Let's just do one more. Progression, lengthening your arms out in front, pulling the band apart. So some of you might come down by 10 or 15 centimetres, some of you a little bit more. We'll just finish off with a lunge, drop your band, come to the front of your mat, step your right foot back. So you're on train tracks. So you're not on a tightrope. So make sure your feet are on train tracks, your hip width apart. So we're going to do a lunge. So your lunge might be shallow, it might be slightly deeper, but make sure that knee is stacked over your ankle. Shoulders down your back pockets, push into the back heel, open up the hip flexor. I'm going to lengthen my right arm up to the ceiling, my left knee step forward, left foot is step forward. Right arm lengthened up to the ceiling, hold on to your hip, or you can lengthen your arms away from each other. You choose the level that's good for you. Feeling a lovely deep stretch. Lengthen, lengthen, hold on to your hip if you're wobbling all over the place, and back to center, step forward. I'm going to step my right to your left, foot back. Sorry, my left to your right, sorry. Make sure you're on that train track. I lengthen my left arm, your right. Lengthen your arms away from each other. If you're wobbling all over the place, hold on to your hip. Feel a lovely deep stretch, but you're really challenging your balance. Nice deep stretch in the waist. And lengthen back to center. Step the foot forward. Just shake out, and we'll come down to the mat and just do a spine stretch. So hopefully you just feel nice and warmed up, nice and stretched. So we'll just do a spine stretch. We're not doing triceps today. So lengthen your arms up to the ceiling. Now, if you're finding this too much on your lumbar spine, just bring your feet, say mat width apart, and you can have your hands in between your legs. But if you're able to lengthen your arms up to the ceiling, hinge forward, arms in line with your ears, pull your belly button to the spine, nice straight back. Now, those with lumbar spine issues, keep a nice straight back, but the rest of us are going to round and curl. If you can flex your feet, you're being pulled by a piece of string from the crown and head. You think you can't come any further, but lengthen from the hips. You're being pulled by a piece of string from the crown and head. And then restack your spine one vertebra at a time. We'll do one more. Either you're lengthening your arms up to the ceiling, or just have your hands in between your legs if there's too much pressure on the lumbar spine. Can you see my hands are in line with my ears? Pull the belly button to the spine. Flexing my feet. The length comes from my hips. Feeling a lovely deep stretch of the spine, the muscles in the back of my legs, nice straight back. Those with no lumbar spine issues, you're going to round and curl. You're being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head. So if you can come in extra few millimeters, think you can't, but yours can. Lengthen through the hip joints. And then slowly restack your spine, one vertebra at a time, and back to seated. So we're going to slowly roll down, really, really slowly roll down, either with the assistance of the band, like we do every week, around the arches of your feet, level 1, 2, or 3. Really slowly. If you come down too quickly, maybe roll back up and do another one. So I'll start at level 2, relax the feet and legs. You know how it works, lean back bandage, straight back. Then tuck in your pelvis, so really scoop your pelvis, pull your belly button to the spine. Can you see I'm turning my spine into a wheel? And I'm rolling down as slowly as possible. Some of you will have a little cheek cushion underneath your lumbar spine. Slowly as possible. So if you're coming down in level 2 and you're going too fast, come into level 1. Slowly, slowly, squeeze the glutes. And I'm really trying to round my spine, teaching my spine to be flexible. I want every single vertebrae to hit the mat. If you're at level 2 or 3, keep those elbows open. You don't want to look at your elbows. Makes it too easy. Slowly, slowly. Pull the belly button to the spine. Slowly, slowly. And once you come down to the mat, hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. Pulling your knees apart, cross your ankles. Some of you might want to remove your block, lengthen your legs up to the ceiling. Now I'm pushing into my hands here, horizontal alignment with my legs, part my legs, mat width apart, flex my feet, and come to the ceiling or maybe a little bit lower. You don't want to flare out your rib cage. The classic Joseph Pilates rollover. You choose the stretch that's good for you. Lumbar spine stretch. Keep on hugging the left leg, lengthen the right leg away. Really hug the knee to the chest, bring the left knee slightly out to the side. Thigh skims your rib cage, keep on lengthening through the hip joint. Lengthen the left leg up to the ceiling, holding onto your hamstring, calf muscle, your ankle. Push into your heel and start circling your ankle one way and then the other. Keep on lengthening through the leg. You can float up your head and shoulders if you want to, a little bit more core work. It is a progression. Bend the knee, lengthen this way, bring up the right knee, lengthen through the hip joint. Really relax the muscles, really hug that knee to the chest. Bring the right knee slightly out to the side, thigh skims your rib cage, relax, relax. Hold on to your hamstring, calf muscle, your ankle, not the back of your knee, push into your heel. Hug that lengthened leg to the chest, circling your ankle one way then the other. Some of you might want to progress and peel those shoulders off the mat, a little bit more core work. Bend your knee and come lengthen your legs away. Tee your arms, something slightly different today. A nice deep spine stretch. Bring your right knee, bend your right knee. Keep your arms at T. Now it's really important that left leg is lengthened all the way down the mat. As you rotate over to the left, can you see my left leg stays rotated? Shoulders stay glued to the mat. So can you see my right foot sits behind my left knee? And I'm going to just put a little bit of pressure on hold on to my left knee, my right knee, sorry. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm looking in the opposite direction, gluing my shoulders to the mat. So I can really feel a nice deep stretch of my lumbar spine there. The aim is to keep your shoulders glued to the mat and your knee touching the floor. It's really important the shoulders stay glued to the mat. Look in the opposite direction. Tee your arms and bring your knee back to center. We're going to swap over. So lengthen the right leg away. Can you see my left foot? My left knee is bent. And I bring it across my body to the right. And can you see that left foot sits behind my right knee? My shoulders are glued to the mat. So I look in the opposite direction. Now I'm just going to hold on to my left knee. I'm looking in the opposite direction. And it's really important I keep my shoulders glued to the mat, feeling a lovely deep stretch of the lumbar spine. The aim is to, which I'm not doing here, to touch your knee on the floor and glue your shoulders to the mat. That left knee should touch the floor as I glue my shoulders to the mat. But I cannot do that, I'm not flexible enough. And back to center, always pulling the belly button to the spine, so really stretched it out. So we're just going to do one leg circle now. So you choose the arm position that's good for you. You know how it works. Hands on the mat, up to the ceiling, over your head or interlace, with or without weights in your hand. One leg circle. So make sure you're in supine. That bowl of soup on your pelvis. I'm going to bring my right knee up to tabletop. Pencil shoots out my knee. Horizontal alignment of my shins. And I'm drawing a perfect circle on the ceiling with that pencil that shoots out from my knee. Take the pressure out of the left foot so you can really feel your core switched on. And I'm really thinking about drawing a perfect, slow and controlled, nice big circle on the ceiling. Relax all the muscles muscles in the feet, in the legs. Take the pressure out to that supporting foot. That leg can be lengthened. And you're drawing a perfect circle, but you're not moving any part of the main trunk of your body. Can you see my supporting leg can be bent or lengthened? You choose the level that's good for you. You want that circle to be as big as possible, but it disturbs nothing. The main trunk of your body doesn't get disturbed. Your pelvis is completely stable. Bowl of soup on your pelvis. Relax the foot, relax the leg. Big circles. All comes from the hip joint. Come in the opposite direction. Can really feel that in my quads as well as my core. But it's all about taking the pressure either out to that bent knee, take it out to the foot, or taking the pressure out that extended leg. Try to take the pressure out to that supporting leg. Big circles. Remember, choose the arm position. That's good for you. My quads are aching, my core's aching. Big circles. Let's make it the final one because we've got to come to the other side. Final one, hugging your knees to your chest and rocking from side to side. Or you might go a little bit further and do the rollover. Don't flare out the rib cage, pull the belly button to the spine. We go straight to the other side, left knee up to tabletop. Pencil shoots out from my knee, and I start drawing a perfect circle. Pelvis doesn't move at all. Bowl of soup on my pelvis. Complete stability in my pelvis, pulling my belly button to the spine. Remember, take the pressure out of that supporting foot or leg. And you see, I'm taking the pressure out of that supporting foot. Or you can have a lengthened leg. Circles need to be as big as possible, but don't disturb your pelvis. Or you can lengthen that leg. But it's all about being on thin ice. Really squeeze the glutes, pull your belly button to the spine, melt your rib cage into the mat. You want that circle to be as big as possible, but nothing, the only thing that's moving is my leg and my hip joint. Come in the opposite direction, have I said that? Choose the arm position, that's good for you. Big circles, slow and control. I'm really thinking about taking the pressure out of that supporting leg or that supporting foot. So it's my core doing the work. Pull the belly button to the spine, melting the rib cage into the mat. Let's just do one more. Final one, then hugging your knees to your chest and rocking from side to side. Or you might want to do the rollover. Progression of the rollover. Can you see my arms are over my head? You don't even push into your hands. That's only taken me about 20 years to try to get to that level. So well done if you can do that. Okay, we're back into supine. We're going to do the isometric hold. So it looks like I'm doing absolutely nothing, but this one is really, I find this one really difficult. One or two legs. So I'm going to show you with two legs. One leg is like this, but I'm going to show you with two legs. So I'm pushing against my thighs push against the palms of my hands, and you're not going to move at all. Isometric hold, you're not moving it. So take a breath in, relax the feet. Take a breath in, so you breathe out, you push as hard as you can, pulling that belly button to the spine. Remember, one or two legs, you swap halfway through. Pull that belly button spine. Only if you want to, you can float up your head and shoulders. Relax and push. It's your own personal challenge. And rest. I either rest with my soles, my feet on the floor. You can rest like this. Take a breath in. As you breathe in, out you push. I'm floating up my head and shoulders, but you don't have to do this. Pulling my belly button to the spine. Push, push, push. Really, really feel your work and your deep core muscles. Rest whenever you like. It's your own personal challenge. Swap legs for those who are doing one leg. Push, push. Whew, I'm resting. Really try to challenge yourself and try not to cheat. Relax those legs. Take a breath in, so you breathe out, push. Really push. Try not to cheat. Really challenge yourself because it doesn't last very long. It's only a few seconds. Push, push, push. Just make it your last one. Let's go 5, 4, push, 3, hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. Pulling your knees apart. Some of you might be doing the rollover. Hugging your knees to your chest. We're just going to do, whoops, lost my cushion. We're just going to do one more. Let's do a full body stretch first of all. And then we'll just do our, no, we're going to go straight to the sides. Let's give our core a rest. When we come to the side, we're going to do the oyster. So you have a nice classic oyster. So you're going to choose the arm position that's good for you. You know how it works. So first of all, you're going to, with or without a band around your thighs, you're going to bend your knees in front. Soles of my feet are in line with my bottom. Feet on the floor, progression up to the ceiling. I find it far more comfortable. Line your arm, head in your hands, or up onto your elbow. Just make sure you're stacked. I'm going to stay on my elbow so I can look at the screen. So make sure that pelvis doesn't move at all. All the rules apply. I'm being pulled by a piece of string, shoulders down my back pockets, relax the feet. Take a breath in, so you breathe out, open up that knee as high as it can go. Look at your pelvis, and your pelvis doesn't rock back at all. Completely vertical, really important. Being pulled by a piece of string, shoulders down your back pockets. Holding it for a few seconds, glutes are burning, thighs are burning. Take a breath in, so you breathe out. Open up, classic oyster. Hold. Now, if you want to progress, you can either, we're going to extend our leg, but if you don't want to progress, you do classic oyster, opening and close, holding for a few seconds. If you want to progress, watch my thigh, it doesn't move, I'm relaxing my leg, I lengthen out my leg, glutes are burning, thighs are burning, lift up that waist, and I come round the saucer one way, not moving my foot, it's all from the hip joint, round the saucer in the opposite direction, lengthen through the hip joint, thigh doesn't move, bend my knee, top foot meets bottom foot, and I close my oyster. That's a progression. So float up, open up that knee, pelvis doesn't move, chest out to the sun, hold for a couple of seconds. Look at my thigh, doesn't move. Switch off the muscles of the leg, lengthen through the hip joint, burning, round the saucer one way, or from the hip joint, round the saucer in the opposite direction. This part of my body is not moving. The main trunk of my body is not moving while I'm really thinking about lifting up that waist. Remember, you might be down here, that's okay, and the feet might be on the mat. So you choose the level that's good for you. Bend the knee, thigh doesn't move, foot to foot, and knee floats down. Open up. So you can always come up and down a level, lengthen out. If you're getting tired on your elbow, maybe you can come down and just lie on your arm. Or if you want to progress, you can stack your shoulder over your elbow. You know how it works, classic oyster. Lengthen out. Lengthen around the saucer one way, around the saucer in the opposite direction. Relax the foot, relax the leg. It's all through the hip joint. Really important, this works your glutes. Really important to have really nice, strong glutes. Takes all the pressure away from your lumbar spine. Let's just do a couple more. Remember, you can always come down a level, just open and close your oyster, or rest whenever you like. Round the saucer one way, round the saucer the opposite direction. We'll do one more. Or keep those feet floated, lengthen out, chest out to the sun, shoulders down the back pockets. Keep that knee lifted, and back to center, and just pat it out. We're going to go straight into bow and arrow. And I do this one every week, but it's such a good exercise. It's such a good stretch. It's such a good strengthener. And hopefully you can see you're progressing each week. So we're going to lie on the edge of our block, bend our knees in front. You choose whether you want to open your bow and arrow with nothing at all, using the weight of your body, a weight or a band. Now you're going to lengthen your top leg, diagonally across. You don't have to incorporate your leg. You can keep it rested. If you want to progress, lengthen that top leg diagonally across and really relax it. Stay at hip height. I lengthen my top arm longer than my bottom, and my top arm comes across my bottom arm, across my chest. Really keep it tight and rotate that upper spine as that leg at hip height increases its range of motion. I can feel I'm really tight here at the moment. My range of motion is not very big. Keep that leg lengthened and lifted to hip height. Feel it in your glutes. And then I lengthen back, center closing my book, lengthen and swing that leg behind you. I can really feel I'm opening my hip flexors, but I'm relaxing that leg, working my glutes. Lengthen the top arm, long from my bottom. Open up my bow and arrow. Keep that hand tight to your chest. Really feel like you're rotating your upper spine. It's not increasing my range of motion. Wow, I can feel so much flexible. I feel so much flexible already, more flexible, just by doing my second bow and arrow. Lengthen slowly back to center. Swing that leg behind you with control, holding for a couple of seconds. Top arm comes across my bottom arm, but I'm keeping it tight and I'm really thinking about my pelvis is neutral, vertical, and I'm rotating my upper spine. Lengthen those arms away at T, and I'm going to increase my range of motion. Don't drop that foot. Keep it at hip height. And close your book, swinging the leg behind you. And bend your knee, and just that. We're going to go straight into our bridge today. And I'm going to show you with or without a band. A loop band around your thighs. You're going to take away your block. So you choose whether you want a loop, a band. And no, actually, we're not going to do that today. So today, I'm just going to show you. You're going to struggle to get your arms over your head. I do. I think this is a difficult move. So I'm just going to show you bridge. You're going to extend your leg. You might hold onto your hips if you want to. And you're going to lengthen your leg out to the side, up and over and down. Lengthen out the opposite leg. Lengthen out to the side, up and over and down. I would like you to do 2 on either side. If it's too much, just do 1 on either side and slowly roll down. And then you come into your boat and your teaser. So make sure your feet are close to your seat bone. Squeeze your glutes, push into your heels. Lengthen your knees away. Either hold on to your hips or keep your hands here. Some of you might be able to do it. I really struggle lengthening my arms over my head. You're going to lengthen one leg out in front. Keep the thighs in alignment. My leg comes out to the side, up and over, and back down to the mat. I lengthen my leg out. It comes slightly out to the side, up and over, and bend my knees. We're going to do 2 each side, unless it's too much for some people, and roll back down and roll back up and start your bridge again. So I'm doing 2 each side. Leg comes out to the side. Might come up out to the side by maybe 2 to 3 centimetres. You might come out to the side by 50 centimetres. I really struggle with this one. You might have your arms lengthened over your head, then tucking your pelvis, see care for your spine. Some of you might want to try your crunch before you start your bridge. Try your crunch and then lie back down again, start your bridge. Or some of you might do your bent. Nice straight back, horizontal alignment of my shins. Teaser. Remember, any stage you can hold on to those hamstrings for a little extra support. And slowly, slowly roll down. I'm going to try and lengthen my arms over my head. Push into your heels, squeeze your glutes, lengthen your knees away. I'm going to see if I can come up a level. This is very difficult. I find it difficult. I lengthen my leg out. I lengthen it out to the side, up and over. That is very difficult. Squeezing my glutes, pulling my belly button to the spine. Lengthen my leg, thighs are in alignment, out to the side, up and over. So we're doing 2 each side if you can, without rocking your bottom or rocking your hips. Lengthen, out to the side, up and over. So you might have a tiny, tiny range of motion, or it might be slightly bigger. Tapping your pelvis, C-curve your spine. Roll down one vertebra at a time. Up into your crunch before you lie down, start another bridge. Or some of you might be doing your boat to your teaser, holding onto your hamstrings at any time for support. Boats and slowly, slowly roll down. Then hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. Some of you might go a little bit further and do the classic Joseph Pilates roll over. Full body stretch, pull that belly button to the spine, melt the rib cage into the mat. For those wearing a loop band, keep your loop band on, because we're just about to do the oyster. So you slowly roll to the side. Just do it really slowly. You don't want to feel dizzy. And we're doing oyster this side. So we're going to do oyster. You're going to bend your knees in front. The soles of your feet are in line with your bottom. The top of my body, I'm in that double glazing. Choose the arm position that's good for you. Here you might want a little cushion. Soles of your feet on the mat or float up to the ceiling. Pelvis doesn't move. Relax, relax those legs and feet. Float up. Chest out to the sun, shoulders down the back pockets and close. Classic oyster. Chest out to the sun, don't lean forward. You remember the top of your body is in between two panes of glass. Don't lean forward like that. Your shoulders always have to stay down your back pockets. Hold for a couple of seconds, glutes are burning. If that feels good for you, stay at that level. You want to progress with me, thigh doesn't move. I've relaxed my leg, glutes are on fire now. Lengthen through the hip joint. Saucer one way, saucer in the opposite direction. I'm not moving my foot, it's all from the hip joint. Bend the knee, thigh doesn't move, foot to foot, knee to knee. Float up that waist, my waist is dropping. Really work this one. If anyone has any lumbar spine issues, this is one of the best exercises to do. As long as with your bridge, we just did, and full point kneeling, swimming. They're really good exercises to do at home. Really important to have really strong glutes. So if you don't have strong glutes and you're walking all over the place, you're putting all the pressure on your lumbar spine, and it should be your glutes when you're walking. So we open up, hold it. Remember, you can always come down a level, and you can just open and close your oyster or change your arm position. Hinge in from the hips. Bend the knee. Keep that knee lifted. Pelvis stays completely vertical. Open up. Lengthen out. Thigh doesn't move. Switch off all those muscles. Hinge from the hip. Keep that knee lifted. Glutes and thighs on fire. I can really feel it in my waist as well. One more. Open up. Hold for a few seconds. Lengthen out. Relax that foot. Relax the leg. Bend the knee. Thigh doesn't move. And then just pat it out. And take off your band and we go straight into bow and arrow. So you choose whether you want to open up your bow and arrow with a band, a weight, or both, or nothing at all. You never have to use any equipment in Pilates. Make sure your head is stuck on the block. Lengthen those arms out in front, palm to palm. Lengthen and lift that top leg diagonally across. You might not want to incorporate it. You might want to rest it using the top of your body, or lengthen and lift it to hip height. Lengthen the top arm longer than the bottom, bow and arrow. My top hand comes across my bottom arm, across my chest. Stay tight to your chest. And open your arms, really lengthen your arms away from each other. Keep that leg at hip height so I increase my range of motion. Lengthen, open up that chest. Really look at that hand, your open book. And as you close your book, lengthen, lengthen, you swing your leg behind you. Really relax the foot. Feel it in the glutes, opening up the hip flexor. I lengthen my top arm longer than my bottom, keeping my top hand tight to my bottom arm, tight to my chest. Head follows my hand. I'm really lengthening my arms away at T, increasing my range of motion. And sweep that leg behind me. Relax the foot, it's all in the hips. Lengthen, one more. Head follows your hand. Really thinking about rotating my upper spine only. Really opening up the upper spine. Opening that chest. Don't drop that foot. I dropped that foot a little bit then. Feeling a deep stretch in my glutes, my lumbar spine, hamstrings. Holding the stretch, you'll really, so this is a lovely deep stretch, but you're completely strengthening and toning at the same time. Bend the knee, and just pat it out. We go straight into prone, and today's prone, we're going to do that. Can you see what I'm doing with my arms? We're lying on our arms like that today, so my hands come to my elbows. And I'll take you through the progressions, only if you want to. You can have a loop band around your ankles and you can incorporate your legs. Now, you don't have to incorporate your legs. So I'm just going to take you through it. So make sure your arms are folded and your hands are touching your elbows. You look down in the mirror, I'm resting my forehead. I'm going to take that band off actually, but you can use the band. My forehead is resting on my arms. So take a breath in as you breathe out, pulling your belly button to the spine, squeezing your glutes. I'm just lengthening, lifting my head and sternum only. Being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head and back to center. Remember, if you want to rest, you can always come down to this level. So I'm lengthening and lifting. Don't put too much pressure in those arms and those hands. Now, if you want to progress, it's like salute. I lengthen and lift my head and sternum. So my wrists really stuck to my forehead. Don't flex to the side. And now I'm rotating to my left. I'm not flexing to the side. It's like wringing a rag. So I'm still nice and lengthened, but I'm just rotating my upper spine and back to center. Swap over hands. So my wrist, my right wrist is stuck to my forehead. I lengthen and lift. At any stage, you can lengthen and lift your opposite leg. Squeeze your glutes, pull your belly button to spine, and I'm rotating my upper spine to the side. But remember, you're not flexing to the side. Imagine you're one long clock and you're being wrung out, but you stay one long line, like a pig on a spit, if you know what I mean. So I lengthen and lift my head and sternum. Wrists stuck to my forehead. Incorporate the opposite leg if you want to. And I'm really lengthening and lifting my upper spine. I'm not flexing to the side at all. Rotating my upper spine only. Lengthen and lift. Keeping those hips glued to the mat. Rotation of my upper spine. Now, if you want to go a little bit further, I'm doing double arm lift, much harder. You can do double leg lift. Rotating to one side, much harder, back to center and rest. So I'm lengthening and lifting my head and sternum. Lengthen and lift, double arms. Rotation of my upper spine. Not flexing to the side. Back to center. Oh, so much harder. Don't have to incorporate those legs. Double arm lift. Rotation to the side. I'm really thinking about rotating my upper spine only. You don't even have to rest. I'm going to have to come down a level. So I lengthen and lift. Wrist stuck to my forehead. Thinking about lengthening, lifting still as I'm rotating my upper spine. Like that rag being wrung out. Swap over hands. Don't have to incorporate the leg. And I'm really feeling I'm being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head. Let's make our final one. I find the double very challenging. and back to center. Capital E your arms. Rock your hips from side to side, just releasing any tension you hold in the lumbar spine. Feet are mat width apart. And we're going to come into Sphinx pose. So make sure if it's really too uncomfortable, you can do it at capital E. But the rest of us are going to have our elbows underneath our shoulders. Our hands are in front, Sphinx pose. Our feet are mat width apart. So I'm looking down in the mat, looking down in the mirror, and I bring my chest out to the side, shoulders down my back pockets, pull that belly button spine, and really feel you're extending your spine and relax and look down at the mat. One more. Chest out to the sun, shoulders down my back pockets, chest out to the sun. Don't put too much pressure in your hands. I'm pushing into my elbows there. Now I'm going to push into my left hand. I'm looking over my left shoulder, looking at my left foot, gluing my left hip to the mat, right elbow glued to the mat. Really look over that shoulder. And lengthen back to center. Chest out to the sun, shoulders up down the back pockets, look down in the mat. Another one, chest out to the sun, shoulders down my back pocket. Now I'm pushing lizard, pushing into my right hand, looking, trying to extend that right arm, looking over my right shoulder, looking at my right foot, right hip glued to the mat. Really look at that right foot, rotate the upper spine and lengthen back to center. Now we're going to see if we can push into our hands and extend those arms, relax the bottom of your body, pull your belly button to the spine. Little spinal extension. Some of you might want to put your hands underneath your shoulders, but make sure your pelvis stays stuck to the mat. Spinal extension. Pelvis must stay stuck to the mat. And lengthen back to center. Everyone puts their hands underneath their shoulders, and we're coming into a cat and cow. So for those with knee issues, you can roll into a fetal ball now on the side, just stretching out your spine. So we're going to start with a cow, sticking out your bottom, pull your belly button to the spine, cow, and now we're going to round and curl our spine, pushing into your palms, squeezing your glutes. Some of you might want to float up your knees, it might be more comfortable to tuck your toes under. No more than 2 centimeters, a little bit more core work and a bit more upper body work. Really push into the palms, squeeze the glutes, round and curl that spine. Another cow, stick out the bottom, squeeze a tennis ball between your shoulder blades and feel like your shoulder blades are coming down into your back pockets. And then round and curl your spine again, your nice cat, stretching your spine. Some of you will be floating your knees. And back to center. The next exercise we're going to do is with or without the arms. It's quite tricky if you include the arms. Now, prone, I would like you to do, this one's a bit difficult to do in prone, so I would like you to do prone swimming, opposite leg and arm, for those staying in prone with knee issues. Now, the rest of us, we're going to, I'll just show you with the leg, we'll incorporate the arm a little bit later. We're going to lengthen, lift. And you're going to try and bring your knee to your elbow and lengthen. We're going to do 4 to 5 each side. Knee to your elbow and lengthen. I'm going to show you here, 4 to 5 each side. Make sure you're stacked. You lengthen out your leg. Can you see my legs coming out to the side? Knee to elbow and lengthen out. Now, if you want to progress with or without a band, you lengthen out your arm and you keep it stationary. Knee to elbow. You might not touch your knee on your elbow, I don't, but that's the aim. 4 to 5 one side, you might want to do 8 to 10. This can be done at plank. It's Susie Brewer's online. Jan Bebbington, I know you like to do this one at plank. So you're doing 4 to 5 one side. I'll show you at plank, don't stick out your bottom. Knee to elbow, hip height, knee to elbow, hip height, don't stick out your bottom, knee. If you can lengthen out your opposite arm, well done. because I certainly can't. So let's just carry on. Lengthen that leg. Total stability. Knee to elbow. 4 to 5. Some of you might want to do a little bit more. Can you see progression? You can either lengthen your arms slightly, opposite arm slightly out in front, taking the pressure out to your hand, or the aim is always shoulder height or hip height. Sorry, shoulder height. Knee to elbow. When you've done your 4 to 5, you come on to the other side. Lengthen, total stability, make sure you're stacked. Knee to your elbow, bringing your legs slightly out. Knee to your elbow, complete stability. Only if you want to, you lengthen the opposite arm, but you don't want to lose your stability. Can you do your final set of 4 to 5 at plank or 4-point kneeling? Either incorporating the arm or just using the leg only. But really try to keep that horizontal alignment of your pelvis. Final one, bring your arms down. If your feet can be, your knees can be mat width apart, gluing your big toes together, if you can. If it's too uncomfortable, don't worry. And come into a child's pose. Lengthen the arms forward, push the chest into the mat. Rest your forehead on the mat and just massage your head from side to side. Really lengthening those arms forward. Now walk your hands over to 10 o'clock. Right hand sits on left. Keep on walking those hands sitting on your heels so you feel a lovely deep stretch down the right side. Now walk the hands over to 12 and then over to 2. Left hand sits on right. And I'm especially trying to walk that left hand away so I feel a lovely deep stretch down the left side. Then over to 12. And we're really C-curving our spines, really C-curved spine. Pull your belly button to the spine and use your deep core muscles to get up to 4-point kneeling. And we're going to do classic thread the needle with or without a band. Or some of you might want a band and a weight. I'm going to do something slightly different today for those who extend their legs. Now my right hand, you know how it is, make sure you're stacked. Lengthens out to the side, or it might be a little bit higher or higher still. Don't stick out the hips. So many people do this. You've got to keep a nice streamlined body. Don't stick out the hips. Doesn't matter if your arms here. Really think about not sticking out the hips. Push it into that supporting hand and lengthen that arm back to center. Keep lengthening, don't bend it. Lengthen, lengthen until it gets down to the mat. And I thread my right arm underneath my left, pushing into my left hand, really rotating my upper spine. For some of you who lengthen your leg, I don't know if some of you can lift it. For those who can lift it, try and lift it as high as you can. When you step out to the side, try and lift it as high as you can. So you're incorporating a little bit of glute work. And then you unthread your right arm out to the side or up to the ceiling. It's your range of motion, but I'm thinking about pushing into my left hand on the mat, lengthening my arms away from each other, not sticking out that hip. And lengthen, lengthen back to center. Keep lengthening and back to center. And we'll do the other side. My left arm lengthens out to the side. Maybe your range of motion is here. Doesn't matter, range of motion is personal. And I'm sure you can, as long as you feel you've made progressions over the last few years. And lengthen, don't stick out the hip. Lengthen, lengthen back to center. Left hand threads underneath right. Pushing into that right hand. So I'm really thinking about rotating my upper spine only. Some of you might want to lengthen and lift that right leg. Now, if you're doing the lift, see if you can get that leg lengthened and lifted as high as you can. And really lengthen and lift it out to the side, using your glutes. As you unthread your left arm out to the side. up to the ceiling. Your range of motion might be here. Pushing into that supporting hand. Lengthening your arms away from each other, opening up your chest. Trying to squeeze that tennis ball between your shoulder blades. Trying to get your shoulders down your back pockets and lengthen back to center, bringing the leg in. We all come to seated. I think I'm doing well for time, which I am, and we're going to slowly roll down. Slowly, slowly. You know how it works. So you choose the level that's good for you, and you're going to slowly roll down. So I'm going to roll down doing my hair. So lengthen up. Level 1, 2 or 3, or holding on to your band. Or if you're too tired, just roll down on the side. Lean back by an inch, then tucking your pelvis. Relax your feet. Relax your legs. Slowly, slowly, let's work our core. Make the most of the whole hour. It's nearly over. Pull the belly button to the spine. And especially as you breathe out, really feel you're pulling the belly button spine, melting the rib cage into the mat. Rounding and curling the spine. Slowly, slowly. Squeeze the glutes. Open those elbows. And then hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. Unless some of you are trying this. And as I was saying, the next level is this. Parting your legs, mat width apart, flexing your feet. But using your hands, what's good, you get a little bit of upper body work there, because you're pushing into your hands when you do this one. Now back into supine, we started at 33, so I just wanted to do my little, it's called, oh gosh, I've forgotten what it's called. We're going to bring our knees up to tabletop. You're going to cross your legs, what do I call it? Leg lower. So some of you might want a loop band around your thighs. This can be done with 1 or 2 legs. But if it's one leg, can you see what I'm doing this? Right, pulling my knees apart, we lengthen and lower. We've done this one before. Make sure you pull your knees apart. If you're doing one leg, can you see? You still have to rotate from the hip joint. You swap over halfway through. So you choose the arm position that's good for you. I'm pulling my knees apart, and so it's fat diamond, and I'm lengthening my legs to get a skinny diamond, but just come to the point, that's good for you. Fat diamond, really pulling your knees apart, feeling it in the glutes, feeling it in the thighs, but feeling it in the core. Skinny diamond, lengthening your legs to a point, that's good for you. Don't flare out your rib cage. And fat diamond, really pulling your knees apart, feeling you're using your thighs and your glutes and your core. Lengthen out those legs to a point, that's good for you. You might come to here, you might come to here. So you choose the level that's good for you. Pull the band apart. For those wearing the band, but I want you to get a nice big fat diamond, pulling your knees apart, crossing your ankles. Choose the arm position that's good for you. You should feel it in the thighs. I feel it in the thighs. It's wrapping around to my glutes, and I feel it in the core. So skinny diamond. So I'm coming quite low. It doesn't matter if you don't. Fat diamond, you might come to here, slightly skinnier diamond, and back in. Swap over legs for those doing one leg, sorry. Choose the arm position that's good for you. Remember, you can always come up and down levels. Really think about that fat diamond, pulling the knees apart. Keep the ankles crossed. Really feel that. Let's make it a final one. Lengthen, pulling the belly button to the spine. Pull the knees apart, then hug your knees to your chest and rock from side to side. Feet are max width apart. If you've got really long legs, slightly wider than mat width apart. Tee your arms. Drop your knees to the left and look to the right, lengthening through the top hip joint, lengthening the knee away through the top hip joint. Feeling you're opening up your hip flexors and your quads. Left foot sits on, sorry, right foot sits on, no, left foot sits on right knee. Still lengthening through the hip joint, feeling a nice deep stretch. Look in the opposite direction if you can. Just get your breath back. Feet are mat width apart, wide if you've got really long legs, and bring your knees back to center, drop your knees over to the right, look to the left. Lengthen the top knee away through the hip joint, feeling a nice, keep the shoulders on the mat, feel a nice stretch in your hip flexors and your quads. Right foot sits on left knee, squeeze the glutes, tucking the tailbone under, feeling that nice deep stretch. Feet are mat width apart and back to center. You can grab your band and just stretch it out. Put the band underneath the arch of your right foot. Lengthen your leg up to the ceiling. Left leg is bent or lengthened depending on your flexibility. Push into the heel. And hug that lengthened leg to the chest. Pushing into the heel. Feeling a deeper stretch in your calf muscles there. Now I want you to totally relax your leg and your foot, and you're now lengthening through the hip joint. So you've switched on your core muscles there. Tee your arms, keep lengthen through the hip joint, relax that foot, and bring your foot out to the right, your leg out to the right. But you're lengthening through the hip joint, switching off the muscles in the legs, relaxing the foot. Take a breath in as you breathe out, lengthen that leg back center. Try not to tug on the band too much. You can feel it's all in the core. Put the band in the left hand, tee your right. And you see what I do there? I rest my elbow on the floor, a little bit of stability so my leg doesn't drop down. So you're lengthening with control to the side. Shoulders always stay glued to the mat. And I lengthen back to center. Really think about lengthening through the hip joint, switching off the muscles in the leg, relaxing the foot. Continuously working your core, but stretching at the same time, holding the stretch, strengthening. Right leg bent or lengthened, depending on your flexibility. Push into the heel. Hug that lengthened leg to the chest. Pushing into the heel, you feel a deeper stretch in your calf muscle. Now I'm going to relax my leg and foot, lengthening through the hip joint. Hold the band in my left hand and I lengthen out to the left. Switch off the muscles in the leg, relax the foot, lengthen through the hip joint. Keep the shoulders glued to the mat, arms up T. And lengthen back center, squeeze your glutes, pull your belly button to the spine. Switch off the muscles, that's all in my glutes there. In my core, sorry. And now I feel it in my glutes. And lengthen back center. Lengthening, really feeling that in the glutes now as I lengthen back center. Drop the band, left ankle on right thigh, hugging the knee to the chest, really relax that right foot. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, feeling a lovely deep stretch in my left glute. If you can lengthen your legs up to the ceiling, or get there any way you can, your right ankle on your left thigh, hugging your left leg to the chest, really relax that left foot. Feeling a lovely deep stretch in my right glute now. Really relax the muscles, hugging your knee to your chest. And slowly put your foot down. I'm going to remove the block and just take the ball, and we're just going to press into the ball for 8. Remember to breathe, and it's a double chin. So it's releasing that tension in the head, neck, and shoulders. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, you push. And release. And again, take a breath in. As you breathe out, you push. And release. And just one more. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, you push. And release. Just slowly rolling your head from side to side. Really relax the muscles in your neck, and let the ball deepen your stretch in your neck. Really relax. Just getting your breath back. And back to center. When you're ready, you gently come to seated. When you're ready, slowly breathing continuously. You don't want to feel dizzy. We're going to just do a seated rotation now, like we did the other day. So I bring my right to your left leg, hugging your knee to your chest. And you're going to hold onto your knee with my left, your right arm. As you rotate, you're going to look behind you. Can you see my right, your left hand steps behind? And you look but over your shoulder, but lengthening, lifting at the same time. Really look over that shoulder. And then we'll come back to center, hold on to your knee, and we'll come to the other side. Lengthen and lift, your cork being pulled out of the bottle. Pull that belly button to the spine and back to center, and we'll swap over. My left, your right, hug your knee to your chest. I'm going to hold on to my knee. I'm going to bring my left, your right arm behind you. Rotation of my upper spine. Lengthen and lift, hug that knee to the chest. Don't let it drop out. Look behind you, look over your shoulder. I'm still being pulled by a piece of string from the crown of the head. And back to center, hold on to your knee and rotate the other side. I'm still lengthening up. Looking behind me, looking over my shoulder. And oops, see my knee dropped out. You don't want your knee to drop out. And back to center. We're going to come to 4-point kneeling. Those with lumbar spine issues, you come up with a straight back. The rest of us tuck our toes under. Pilates stance, holding on to weights if you want to, really works core a little bit more. Glue your heels together, Pilates stance, micro bend in the knees. Push into the heels, tailbone up to the ceiling, let the top of your body hang, maybe with weights in your hand. Now really pulling my belly button spine, squeezing my glutes, letting the top of my body hang. It's amazing with these weights, I'm really concentrating on using my deep core muscles to sequentially restack my spine, one vertebra at a time. And back to center. Drop the weights if you want to, or you might, some people prefer the weights. They feel it gives them a little bit more balance when they do the arm circles. You can stay on your soles of your feet or come up onto your tiptoes, squeezing your shoulder blades together, soles of your feet, or you might want to stay on tiptoes. Lengthen, squeezing the shoulder blades together. One more, whoops. And back to center. And thank you.